You're watching a B.A.S.S. presentation.
Bring him up out of Lewiston, Florida. Scott Martin, bring him to the stage. 5 in the bag. You need 9 pounds, 13 ounces to unseat Tucker Smith. I think that's going to happen. Looking for 9-13. He's got it. 31 pounds, 7 ounces. 3-day total of 90 pounds and 6 ounces. It's going to be a new Bassmaster all-time 3-day tournament total record, again, of 90 pounds and 6 ounces. He's going to be your champion, Lewiston, Florida. Let's hear it for him. Here we go. Let's try it. Stay in here, Scott.
I'm going to get a picture of all.
Oh, you want all 5? Yep. Sounds good. We'll get rolling up.
Yeah.
You care if your dad holds them? Yeah, we're going to hold a picture of all 5. Let's see what we got here first, though. And Roland, I want you holding these other 2, so we'll get rolling up here. 8-12. 8-12 on that one. Roland, get up here. Hold some fish up, too. We're going to hold up that 31 2-pound bag.
Grab one.
I think you know how to do that. Hold a bass up on stage. So, again, 90 pounds and 6 ounces through the week. It's a new all-time Bassmaster weight record for a 3-day tournament. Let's hear it for him. He's going to be your champion. All right, Scott, let's chat.
Wow.
What a special week.
Whew. I've had to hold it in all week. I knew this was going to be a tough tournament, and I knew I was going to have to just fish as slow and methodical as I could. And I had to, in a lot of tournaments, you run around and you try to fish and you try to get excited and you try to do this and that and keep your energy level. I was the opposite. I was going to just cover water and fish slow. And I tell you what, the Lord has blessed me so much. I just can't even believe it. I gave my life to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ back in 2000, and He's changed my life. He's made me a better father. He's made me a better husband. He's made me a better friend, and He's given me eternal life. So it's been amazing. But to win it here in this parking lot in front of my mom, I'm so glad you're here, Mom. My dad that's here, he won a tournament here in '91. Right on the other side of the marina here. We had the stage set up. And felt like I was part of that tournament. I practiced with Dad those couple days, and he gave me credit on stage that I was a big help that week. He had me rigging tackle at night and helping him get his stuff ready and everything. And that was the first time I thought, I really want to stand on that stage one day. And to have that go full circle here in Lewiston in front of my family and friends is just so amazing. So my sister, I'm so proud of her, what she's doing. My nephews. Shara over there, the help that you give, Shara, I tell you, Shara's helping us out with my mom, and she's been a big help. It's been a big deal. So thank you so much for all that, because you're able to get her here and all that. It's a big deal. My wife, I love you so much, babe. She's been praying.
What an emotional moment. What a day. What a final day for this first event of the St. Croix Bassmaster Opens for 2024. Really got started off in the most momentous way we could possibly begin a season of the Opens. Tommy Sanders here with Greg Hackney, with Ronnie Moore. And Greg, we'll start with you. Scott Martin's performance and everything that surrounds him, in front of his people, in front of his hometown, everything came together. It was a perfect storm.
It really was, and I'm such a big fan of Bassmaster Live, and to watch that epic day and so much history there with his family in bass fishing just over the last 40 years. It is pretty special that he wins his first Bassmaster tournament at home with his mom and dad there at a place where he watched his dad win.
Just incredible. Record-smashing performance, Ronnie Moore.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw on the final day, it wasn't easy the first few hours. He had just some small fish, then he catches a big one, and then he fills out his limit. And then the midday portion, when he catches a couple over 8 pounds, I think he had 3, a couple that we thought were close to 10. They ended up being around 9 pounds. Absolutely record-smashing. And like you said, 90 pounds, 6 ounces. He breaks the all-time 3-day record. No matter which trail you want to look at it, B.A.S.S. Fantastic event for Scott Martin, and to do it at home, he won by 21 pounds and change, Tommy. Something, we saw some stuff today that was very, very historical.
He was a season full of highlights pressed into one single day, one single 3-day performance. We should, to be fair, say that. But let's take a look at some of the other great performances during the course of this final day championship Saturday. How about Eastern Fothergill, the winner of the Bassmaster bracketed competition for college? He's into the Classic for just a few weeks from now at Grand Lake, and man, he's on a magical ride here.
Caught his personal best today.
That story in itself is absolutely incredible, and also this one. We've seen a lot of former Elite Series pros try to come back and make the Bassmaster Elite Series, and some have not been successful. Randall Tharp, to be able to be at his home lake, a place that he's got a lot of experience and a lot of good history. Good start to his season, starting off on the right foot, 3rd place overall, doing what he does best.
My pick.
He was your pick.
He was my
You
pick.
called him
A consensus.
way in advance of coming on the air, and man, what a great performance by Randall Tharp, making that big commitment to the EQs to make it back to the Bassmaster Elite Series. And a real Opens horse, as you pointed out, Ronnie Moore. He can win Opens.
I mean, and you
Absolutely.
look at his performance the last 3 days, so consistent.
Oh, yeah.
You would have thought you would have said before the event started, he'll have a chance to win with 68.8.
That's what we all thought, and who knew that it would be such a big winning margin for Scott Martin. But Randall Tharp, like we said, so consistent, doing it how he wants to do it. And then obviously on this final day, when he smells blood, he was going after it. He just didn't know what Scott's area was capable of, but he was able to do it his way. And like you said, 22nd Bassmaster Open he's ever fished, and he's got 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a 3rd place finish now.
All right, so he said first 2 days of the tournament, he had one of those rare things. He had basically a place where he was not bothered by anyone else through the course, and I think that was key to his
Very
great
rare
performance.
this week not to be around other competitors.
Exactly rare. A place like Okeechobee, and we have to say all along the way that what a great performance Lake Okeechobee put on here. It's always tremendous. The expectation's always high, and it delivered on all of them. How about Tucker Smith?
Yeah, I think we were just talking about Randall Tharp doing something a little different by himself. This is what they sought out. Tucker Smith, Paul Marks, both getting top 5 finishes here. They put their heads together and said somewhere there's going to be a bite with the style of fishing we like to do with our electronics, and they found it in that rim ditch on the northeast side of the lake. They were able to cash in. Their bags may have gotten smaller basically each day of competition, but not only did they protect their 26 and 27 pound bags on day 1, they did it very well, catching 23, 24, catching 20 pounds and 19 pounds on the final day. They did great managing the limited fish they probably had, Greg.
They also found an area to themselves, and no one else was doing that. So they ran and stayed basically the whole tournament in those canals and never really saw that many more competitors in there. Or if they did, you even said that earlier, that the guys that were in there fishing were fishing the bank. And they were fishing out in the middle, fishing for fish that were not getting fished for.
We've talked about it now, Tommy. A couple college anglers, Bo Browning joining Easton Fothergill, and Tucker Smith as former or current college anglers in our top 10. To see this young evolution and to see the most decorated youth angler in B.A.S.S history, 3 high school championships, a college championship, team of the year. He's won individual events as well. Tucker Smith, 2 runner-ups in the College Classic bracket, and now a runner-up in a Bassmaster Open. We're going to keep our eye on. We're going to talk about him all season long.
He's probably the leader in Bassmaster lifetime for a person his age.
Yes.
Not by a little, but by probably hours and hours.
Well, he's been the lead boat in multiple Bassmaster Classics as the high school representative. He led y'all out and turned around and came back to the dock. One of these days, he will be in the Bassmaster Classic competing. This is his 3rd opportunity, and he's gotten 3 second-place finishes to try to qualify for the Classic.
27-6 on day 1, 23-12 on day 2. A little bit of a fall off today with the 17-19, but good enough to edge Randall Tharp for 2nd place. And now, Greg Hackney, what do you say about a performance like this?
The guy was fishing the tournament by himself. It was a Scott Martin tournament going on the northern part of the lake today. He couldn't hardly not win. So he only needed 9 pounds when he weighed in to win. He had 31. So realistically, when he caught the first 4 bass this morning, he'd won the tournament. Unbelievable.
There was a little bit of drama because we were unsure. You know, it's Okeechobee. You don't know if who's going to catch a 30-pound bag. To see Scott do this on the final day, it looks different. 31 pounds, there's no other boats really around. If they are, they're watching, maybe they're not fishing. To see what he overcame the first 2 days, fishing in a crowd of 50 to 70 boats at any given time, It could have been any number of those anglers who could have rose up and won or been the leader. For Scott to use his historical knowledge, his Florida knowledge, fishing slower than most, fishing bait casters instead of spinning rods at times, man, he separated himself with knowledge. It looks like it could be luck in a crowd, but he really showed, I know more about this area than anyone else I'm fishing around.
It's not luck when you catch that much weight 3 days in a row. In a community hole, basically fishing a community hole.
Greg, any athletic performance is so dominating, so overwhelming. You got to say, you know, this concept of the zone really has to exist. He was a guy who was definitely in the zone. You've been there.
And
you know
we'll
what
see
it feels
if
like.
he, maybe in a couple weeks from now, if we see if he takes this momentum on to the first Elite Series. We'll be fishing in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think he'll, you know, like Hank said on stage, last man or first man out of the Classic for 2024. He's not going to be at Grand Lake, but he's already the first one to punch their ticket for 2025. Some guys go win hunting. This could be Scott Martin's great year, but it's hard to top your first event of the season being first place. So we'll see where he goes from here.
Well, regardless, he'll be hamming it up for the next couple
No
weeks.
doubt about
I
it.
promise. I know Scott well enough to know he's fixing to enjoy this win.
Yeah, absolutely. He has earned it. He has earned every bit of enjoyment and fun and publicity he gets out of it. Of course, everyone's surprised that even though he's been out here since 2001, surprised he's not won on the Bassmasters so far, because he's fished many Opens before that as well. It's been kind of a glass wall that he was able to bust through in the most powerful possible way.
And not only was it dominant, Tommy, the sentimental aspect of this, having his whole entire family, so many people in Clewiston, at his father's name is on the marina we weighed in at, for him to get his first B.A.S.S victory at Okeechobee, out of the ramp that he's fished out of thousands of times with his family there, I think is super special for Scott. And let's just say this is his only B.A.S.S win of all time. If he ends his career with one, what a one to win for him.
A very historic one. In a very historic manner.
Oh, no doubt about it. Just absolutely jaw-dropping. And there it is. The ultimate moment right there. Scott Martin collects his first Bassmaster victory. And what a great time and what an overwhelming way to get it done. Rarely do you ever see a performance like that in a tournament. Smashing records for biggest single day in an Opens event. Biggest 3-day total as well. 90 pounds and 6 ounces. Simply phenomenal. Hats off to Scott Martin.